Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Flugie, the Ordinary Movie Guy, here to give movie recommendations to the ordinary moviegoers such as myself. Before we get started, I hope you smash that like button and hit subscribe to my channel. Today, I wanted to talk about the Mortal Kombat remake that just came out in 2021. And before going into this, I want to say I'm a big gamer, grew up playing video games, and I grew up playing the Mortal Kombat series. So I'm a big fan of Mortal Kombat. I'm not some diehard fan that knows every little detail of the games, but I'm a huge fan of the games. And a lot of people recognize the games, maybe played a couple of them. But most people won't recognize that the Mortal Kombat games all have one continuous story. There is a plot point to Mortal Kombat. Most people just like, oh, it's just a bloody, violent video game, fighting game. But there actually is a continuous story from the beginning game up until this new one that's coming out later this year. There is a continuous story. So I've played just about all of them. I'm a big fan of the games. So when this remake movie, because there was one that came out in 95, which I'm actually a big fan of, as cheesy as that movie was, I still love it. This new one that came out, I'm not going to lie, I did not like it. Not a fan. I think the average moviegoer might enjoy it more than I did. The casual player of the game, or they recognize the game, or somebody who just likes a little bit of violent fighting movies might like this movie. Personally, as a fan of the game series, as a story, the characters, the lore, I hated this movie. I just was completely bummed out. The only thing, the two things I really liked about this movie, I will give it credit: Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I thought that entire plot line of them is fantastic, because that is the plot line of the games. My two favorite characters. I think they're a lot of people's favorite characters of the games. So I think they did a great job with them, and perfect casting. Hiroyuki Sanada, who played Scorpion, and Joe Taslim, who plays Sub-Zero. I've seen them in quite a few other stuff, and I think they're fantastic actors and perfect casting choice for these two characters. And they were great, and they had some really awesome fight scenes between the two of them, which is awesome. The actor Josh Lawson, who played Kano, I thought he was pretty hysterical. I was laughing. I thought he was clever. I didn't really like how they did his plot, personally. But they did stay true to the character, and he was a good comic relief. So I think he did a good job. The rest of the movie, I hate it. Mortal Kombat, especially with the original movie, original game, plot line is very, very simple. Bad guy wants to invade Earth. That's Shang Tsung. Wants to invade Earth. Has to win 10 Mortal Kombats in a row. Martial art tournaments known as Mortal Kombat in a row to be able to invade Earth. So your plot is just good guys entering this tournament to stop the bad guy. That's all it needs to be. But they decided for this movie, hey, let's do something different, because we're going to get a second movie, which is just, you should never go into making a movie going, I'm going to get a second one. So this plot, instead of doing the tournament, is Shang Tsung knows he's going to lose the 10th tournament. So he has a brilliant idea. Kill the good guys before the tournament, so that way he can win the tournament. So yes, the Mortal Kombat movie doesn't even take place during Mortal Kombat. Makes perfect sense, right? It's just, to me, it's nonsense. So I hated that they went with a different way with the plot. That ticked me off. Next, the lead actor, Louis Tan, who is playing Cole Young. I hate it. He was boring. On top of it, Cole Young isn't even a character in the games. They literally just made up a character. Mortal Kombat has a big roster of characters, a lot of them. So you can easily have a good random cast of all these different characters of who you wanted. Now, the original game had a pretty small cast, and that cast grew bigger throughout the games. It kept adding more and more characters. So why they created another characters, I've heard the director's interview on why he did it. I personally still think it's stupid. This Cole Young character should not be your main character. Liu Kang is your main character. And how they used him in this movie, I didn't like at all. He kind of was like this teacher. I I don't think much highly of myself kind of guy that I don't know. Liu Kang is your lead. He should have been the lead. Creating a whole new character was nonsense to me. So that was kind of, and he was kind of boring. I mean, the actor was just boring watching him. Wasn't very charismatic. Kano was. The rest of the casting, for the most part, I actually kind of liked. I liked the actor who played Jax. I thought he was really good. I liked the Jax storyline because that was similar to the games. I mean, I think in the game wise, he was actually in the second. He was in the second game, and he fought in that tournament. And that's where he lost his arms. I'm pretty sure against Sub-Zero, but I could be wrong. But I also didn't mind that in this movie he loses his arms in a fight with Sub-Zero. It's fine. It gives him his robotic arms that he is known for, that he has from Game 3 onward. So that was okay. The rest of the casting, for the most part, was really good. I hated that they didn't have Johnny Cage, and yes, the director came out and said why he didn't have Johnny Cage, which was nonsense, because he even said, I didn't want another white hero in the movie. That's just the stupidest thing ever. You could have easily just gone with, hey, I already have a big cast, or couldn't find the right actor I wanted for Johnny Cage, or I just wanted to save him for a later time. But nope, he had to make it political. But Johnny Cage is very important to the Mortal Kombat storyline, so that's why I really hate why he wasn't in there, is because Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, and Sonya Blade are your three main heroes. They're the ones who should be in your first movie. They are the main heroes of the first game. They should be the heroes of your first movie going into this tournament. They use Kano as the comic relief. Johnny Cage is the comic relief. Liu Kang is your hero. Sonya Blade is the lead female who's a tough badass, honestly. And she's in the actress who played Jessica McEnany. I've mispronounced it. McEnany. Who plays her? And she did a fine job. I didn't mind her. But she's also an awesome lead. And Johnny Cage is your comic relief, but he's also a good fighter. So not having him, I think, is a big misstep. It's kind of like doing like Avengers without Thor. You did Captain America and Iron Man, but you left out Thor, or Justice League, where you have Wonder Woman and Superman, but you don't have Batman. That's kind of what Johnny Cage is to Mortal Kombat, especially the first one, is Liu Kang, Sonya Blade, and Johnny Cage are your heroes, with Raiden as the god trying to teach them, oversee them, make sure that they're ready for this tournament. And then the one thing, they messed up with the lore a lot. I hated what they did with Goro. Goro is integral. They literally just made him a boring CGI monster that shows up for a 30-second fight, and then they kill him off in 2 seconds, literally within 30 seconds. It's nonsense to me, especially because if you're paying attention to the lore, Goro is the Mortal Kombat tournament. Shang Tsung has won the last 9 tournaments because of Goro. He's the one that's been winning the tournaments. So they just leave all that information out, and he's just CGI monster that dies in 30 seconds. That's literally it. It's like, okay, so Shang Tsung's best fighter and this giant monster who has a story to him is literally just tossed in there for 10 seconds just to get killed by the main character. Spoilers. It's really, that's what you did? This is actually an important character. So that's why I hate video game adaptations. I think they just ignore the game too much. I think they did that with this. They threw in a couple other random characters, which I didn't mind the 2 random ones because they were only in 2 games. They weren't popular characters. And as violent and bloody as Mortal Kombat is, having 2 random characters just to get killed off real quick, that's fine. The use of Cabal, he wasn't bad, but I think they could have saved Cabal for later. Melina, that was a complete and utter waste, which is another bastardization of lore. She's actually a pretty important character. Most people are like, oh, she's just the female ninja of Katana. She is Katana, which they don't have in this movie. Katana's clone. She's literally a clone of her. So she's story wise is actually kind of important because she's supposed to be the new sister of the Emperor Shao Kahn, who's the real bad guy who's going to show up in the sequel, I think. Because he wanted to replace Katana because Katana was trying to fight against him. So he created Melina, and this movie is just, nah, woman fight. So that way we can have a woman versus woman fight against Melina and Sonya Blade. That's literally her only purpose of this. When again, this movie just ignores the plots. So that's my take on this movie. I just did not like it. I just thought it was bad. It was stupid. It ignores the plot of Mortal Kombat. I think the average moviegoer might enjoy this more than I did. So I'm giving this movie a 1.5 star. The Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight's worth watching. Some of the fights are okay, but for the most part, this is actually kind of a stupid movie. Stupid plot. Not great character development. Some of the jokes are good. So there's some reference to the games in it, but for the most part, it's just not good. It's not overall that entertaining. I don't really recommend it. Maybe you'll like it more. But until next time, get out there and watch some good movies. I hope you have a good day.